Yeah. Getting ready. Hey everybody, this is Al with El Rey Collection. Hope everybody's doing great today. Just decided to jump on here. Sorry for the short notice, but I had some accumulation of stuff and I just had too much excitement to open something that I'm getting here that I'll show in a second. My idea was kind of to start off with some with a PSA return and take it from there, so to speak. Go into some mail and answer any questions if people have them. Let me see. It's hard to do two or three things at once. Hola, ¿cómo estás, amigo? Yeah, we're excited, man. How many of you guys are excited about the World Cup? I can't believe it's 3 weeks away. It just feels so wrong that it's this time of year, but at the same point, I am so excited about it. It's you know, the only thing that that kind of makes me feel uncomfortable is if you watch the U.S. TV, they'll show like Team USA. They're like, will they win it all? I mean, come on, guys. I mean, there's just no realism in the U.S. Hype. But anyway, regardless, I'm here today to open some stuff, some soccer cards, obviously, and we can chat about any questions about the market in general, although I'll be doing the state of the market with Bill later this week. Man, these PSA boxes always seem to get harder and harder to open, but I think I got this one. All right, let's see. All right, so I don't know. Anybody have anything they want to comment on or talk about? Card inside. Okay, good. Card inside. Large card inside. Oh, here we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so let me see if I can find what this sub was. I have so many little subs over there that it would be good to kind of know what's in here. Start with the packing slip. Always a good place to go. Pick that up later. Okay, let's go through the packing slip and see what we have here. See what we can expect. I tend to forget what's in a lot of these orders. This was, I think it has 20 cards. So this was probably sent across when they had those, those lotteries of like, you get 20 cards at $30, $50. Let's see, $50. So not cheap at all. But there's some really kind of fun ones in here. So let's see what we got, and let's see. Well, the good news is it doesn't look like there's any cards returned without being graded, which is good news because there's some not super common cards. All right, so without further ado, yeah, all right, good. So yeah, I'm not the only one super excited about the World Cup, man. You know what, I just got to tell, just looking at the cards that I have here, almost none of them are super. I guess there's a couple. Some of them are yeah, okay, 5 or 6 where the grades probably matter. Most of the other ones, just to get them graded is a massive win. In as it is with a lot of vintage, collectibles. Okay, So let's start with. Oh no, there is a card that didn't get graded. Okay, so I have to come back to that. Okay, so let's start with man. And this is hate to start with one that I had to already. Um, dude, this beautiful 1959 Balas Ídolos Garincha with the border. This one had a little bit of paper loss right here, so that's why it gets a 2. But look at that amazingly clean back. Oh, just love this card. This is a massive, massive card. So, with that, we got the question from Brad Williams. Are there any good reference manuals out there if I'm wanting to find some pre-Pele era Brazilian cards? Manuals, no. There's no really good books on that. There is a really, really good website that if you go to the Discord, we have in our what do you call it? Like useful links section. It's Peter's website. And if you're not on that, let me see if I can tell you the actual name. I can't believe I can't find this right now, and I don't have it in my brain. Well, yeah. So you'll just go to the our Discord and look at the useful links section. Oh yeah, it's BrazilianSoccerCollection.com. That'll be good, and they'll have a lot of albums. There's a couple of ones from Brazil as well. They're kind of inconsistent and hard to navigate. I think Peter's site at BrazilianSoccerCollection.com is probably the best. So anyway, Garincha, speaking of Brazilians, the Garincha 1959 Balas Ídolos in a PSA 2. Next one out there is, I like this one a lot. I mean, obviously, he wasn't massive in this World Cup. This is the 1962 Dias Campos. What I really like about this particular one is the back is really cool. It says Copa del Mundo 1962 Chile. It has a thrashed back, but still pretty uncommon. Really nice sticker of Pele. And that is in a PSA 1, again, because of the back damage or some paper loss. But from an eye appeal perspective, pretty good relative to, some of the other ones that you potentially see out there. Okay, really nice to see PSA grading this issue. This is the Figuritas Cola from 1951, Starosta, and this is Angel Labruna, one of the great players from La Máquina in Argentina. I love these big round discs. You can see this one's removed, pretty ugly back, but they're all blank back, so they don't bother me nearly as much as some other cards that have, back damage, because when it's blank, you don't really pay attention to the back damage. And this is just beautiful. What a gorgeous, so Argentine, all these discs. And this is one of my favorites, 1951. So that is great. And then we've got, probably one of the best free kickers of all time, defender Roberto Carlos. This is a rookie in PSA 4. So actually thought this one had better chances to do better. I think I thought this was going to be like a 6 or so, a little bit off center, but anyway, epic one. A lot more of those have been coming out recently. I think one sold yesterday on PSA on PWCC, and I think it was a 7. Don't remember where it ended up, but pretty reasonable from my perspective. You guys will see this El Titan here. Let me see if you can. This is the Uruguayan team on here. So this is obviously the team that won with Nasasi here in the middle, Andrade right there. So this is the full team, and this comes from the Titan little booklets. And this was one that has the Patricios back, stamped back. There haven't been many of those that I've seen. So that's pretty cool. And just having the whole Uruguayan team in a very unique team portrait card, I thought that was pretty cool. So happy to have that one back. Another pretty uncommon one And this is a Zizinho 1958 Americana. There's a Pele from this too. I think there's only one graded, 1958. This is the album Football, not to be confused with the other Americana. But look at how beautiful this back is. It's never been stuck condition, and it is just beautiful. Little miscut you can see on the front here. You know, on the side, on this side right here, got a little bit of the very common Brazilian issues. Love this sticker though, and love the player. I'm gonna pause here for a question. Where do you rank Gustavo Montecudan out of his most important items to have, in your opinion? Okay, I'm gonna come back to this in a little bit, but it's a longer conversation, and I'll finish with the cards, open the mail, and get it. So if you can hang with me on that, because it'll kind of break the cadence of this, but it's definitely an important conversation to have. Okay, so we have, and then here is a Ronaldo Salo back. These are out of Chile. These are really tough to find. This one has some glue of being stuck into the album down here, but a super rare sticker. We used to think the Navarretes and Mundi Chromos were rare. They've turned out not to be that rare, but this one has stood the test of time, being super rare. I think there's only a handful of these graded. The next one, very similar to the other one. Actually, I thought this one would grade higher. It's really nice. This is from the El Titan from 1930, and this is Pedro Sea, one of the greats of the team, with the Patricios back. I think they probably knocked it off thinking this is paper loss on the Patricios. It's just the stamp for Patricios didn't have enough ink, so they're probably treating it as paper loss. Regardless, there's not many of these. Pedro Sea's amazing Pedro Sea, amazing eye appeal, super rare stamp on the back, winning combo to me. Okay, so then we will go to the next group. Was that already 10? It may have already been 10. All right. So the next one is Hugo Sanchez, rookie. This is the Acropole. Blank back here on these. These are super thin stickers, not the best quality, but it's weird that I just noticed they didn't put Hugo Sanchez. They just put Sanchez. That's so annoying. Anyway, clearly it's Hugo Sanchez. Whatever. These don't have the best cuts, but it's not my favorite sticker, but it is a rare sticker. So getting a Hugo Sanchez to the collection is awesome. Also awesome. And this one I actually am a bit bummed at. I thought this was going to be, at least a 4. And these are kind of important. So this is a Bisvalida Pele 1970 World Cup sticker in a PSA 3. Surface looks fine. Yeah, I mean, the corners are tough, but that's why I thought it would get at least a 4. Anyway, beautiful sticker. Nice mid-grade collector example. Happy to have those. The next one, I sent in a couple of these. These are my Rivaldo rookies. One got a 6, which I thought they would be right around 6. 5 to 7 is kind of what I thought. I got 1 6 and 1 4. And I have no idea. There's no paper loss, otherwise it wouldn't be a 4. So I'll have to look at this a little closer, but certainly a 4 is a little disappointing. But 2 Rivaldo rookies. Speaking of some of the Brazilians, there you go. And then, wow, this was never stuck. So what's wrong with this Cafu rookie? They gave this a 2. never stuck. Really nice back. Really, pretty decent centering. A little bit to the bottom. Um, and it's a 2, and the corners are sharp as hell. So there must be something on the surface, which frankly I don't see. So that's a bit of a disappointment, but it is what it is. Then we get to some of the you guys may know that they started to grade the dollar set, which is amazing, and they're labeling as 25 to 28, which is fine. You can actually narrow down the different series to get better guesses of the year, but I think that's a fine guess. Here's the Brazilian team, which is awesome. I think we have Freed on here, although I need to probably get out my loop. Still super cool pictures. I love these dollars. Look at that back. Beautiful back. Amazing. Then we've got this Alessandro de los Santos, who effectively broke the color barrier in Argentina. So he's like the equivalent, I would say, of Jackie Robinson for Argentina. Pretty cool card. I think this is his first card that I know of. So Alessandro de los Santos, obviously a little beaten up here. You can see kind of the crease up here at the top, But these stickers and cards, you take anything you can get. Look at the beautiful back. I mean, it's well worn. It's 100 years old, basically. It's a super important figure to Argentine sport. I'm happy with my 1.5 there. Another one that's a 1.5 but has amazing eye appeal would be this Raimundo Orsi. This is a great card of his. There are other ones where he is in the full body pose, in both the blue and the Independiente red right here, and this is the close up. So this is really, really nice. Beautiful back, and just to me, this is an epic card of Orsi. One of my favorites. Clearly. And then actually, so I actually did have this. This is a bit of a so I got back a free dollar PSA 3, which I guess is the highest rated one. And no, yes, unfortunately, Seb, can you have it? No. Or were you talking about the Orsi? I guess the answer is still the same. It's no. You've got the Orsi and you've got the Freed. They're both just awesome. Loving those back, and I'm loving the fact that PSA is grading them. So that's good. So look at this trio of dollars just one last time. Alessandro de los Santos, Orsi, and Freed. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool thing to get back from PSA. So, and then I've got this big card over here. Let's see where that one ends up. Oh, I had a. All right. Hang on one second. So we've got this one. This one I love this one. So this is a 1967 press photo from Prague. It's a little bit larger than a regular card. This is super cool. What a great action shot. I mean, on the field. I love this. There aren't many of these. This graded a 2, which is relatively low for what I see. It's photographic stock. Big fan of this card. I know that it's oversized, so that'll keep it out of a lot of people's interest. But love the Cruyff postcard. And then I did get this one back as ungraded, and they say evidence of trimming. This is another Orsi. And of course there's evidence of trimming, but they should have just put it in A. I don't understand. Look at there, it's cropped right here, and it's cropped here on the top. So I would also say evidence of trimming. It would be altered. But look at the image. The image is amazing. Look at the back. The back is amazing. I mean, I just wanted this in a holder, so I don't know why they didn't holder it. That's damn annoying. So they charged me $50 to tell me that it's trimmed. Obviously, I knew that was trimmed, and so why they didn't holder it is beyond me. So anyway, that's my duplicate Orsi. I think some people will say, "Oh, why would I ever buy a trimmed card?" Because these are so hard. These cards are so hard to get, and they're so beautiful, and they're 100 years old. And this, by the way, is his rookie. So that's why I buy a trim card, and I buy it when I know that that it is. I buy it knowing that it's trimmed. Okay. So I love Seb. It's okay. I'll take that one. I bet you will. Well, we can work out a trade, Seb. I'm sure we got something that we can do. Okay. The question here is how many different free cards are out there. So you have the dollar. You have the Sportsman, 1930 Sportsman. There's a few Sudan cards. There are some later, post-career cards as well. So if I had to guess, I'd probably say that I've seen there are probably about 6 or 7, and the dollar being the first card that I know of. So that's kind of what I know, Brad. Again, check out Peter's site. He may have more detailed information, although I don't think he necessarily does it by player. He does it more by album. Again, that website is BrazilianSoccerCollection.com. Okay, so this is funny. Just reading Seb's comments, he's upset that I wouldn't give him the card. Okay, so let's move on to. So that's kind of the PSA submission. Mixed bag, but generally good. I think getting the 3 on the Freed is probably about as big as it gets in the sub, and then just getting those dollar cards graded is pretty big. Okay, so let's move away from the PSA stuff and to some of these other packages. I only really have a couple today, and this is probably one of the least exciting ones, but it's kind of just gives you a sense. It's not all about buying the highest dollar stuff that's out there. Try to buy a little bit of everything of things that are interesting me. I've gotten a little bit more into some different cards. Namely, look at all those stamps. I guess this is upside down. Wow, it's a lot of stamps. Fragile. So one of the things that I've been doing is doing some Formula One cards. Not a ton. Some very small ones, and I always do kind of oddball cards. This is kind of in the oddball category for me. Abe Lincoln. So this is kind of a fun card. See stuff like that. So I have historical figures, good and bad ones, and then I have non-sports stuff, and I have just a bunch of random things. My house is kind of crazy as far as that goes. And this one looks like it's going to be require some level of surgery to get in. So, are people, the market's pretty down. recently. I mean, I guess most of the year, but specifically recently. That doesn't necessarily create any angst for me, but I'm just wondering, is that, are people getting kind of negative on collecting out there? I don't know if anybody is feeling that way. Actually, I feel like, wow, my money can go farther now, and it's actually kind of exciting. But I may be alone in that view. Any thoughts on that? So this must be the set. Let's see. Yeah, I could start. I like this. You know what? This is actually really. This is a total aside. But I actually started. I kind of wish that over the last however many years, I would have actually kept more of the interesting stamps that I get from shipments all over the world, because actually I think it would make a fascinating collection, and it would be nicely tied into the soccer collection. I don't know if anybody else feels that way as well, but so this one is the Pet Pro, pretty common set from the 1962. So it's an F1 set. There's a Fangio. I like the art on it. I know it's super easy to get, not valuable at all, but I kind of like the cards. So got those. Let's see what else is in here. Yeah, this is what I think. I think that if the vintage market just dips, it's going to encourage people to buy more. Now, of course, they may have less money to buy as well. So I'm pretty cognizant of that. But there have been some epic falls. This PSA 8 Beckenbauer rookie that sold a couple days ago sold for $13,000, which, don't get me wrong, is a ton of money. But the same card, PSA 8, sold for $66,000 just a few months ago. So you can imagine being the seller of that. That would just be brutal. Here's some more of the Pet Pro cards. And again, these are Juan Manuel Fangio cards, and some other. Who else do we have here? I even forget. It's been a while since I bought these, but they look decent enough to get them. So anyway, again, not super valuable stuff, but just fun little nits to add to the collection. Yeah, that's what I think, but I'm unsure. Yeah, I know. Well, and that's gonna be interesting to see the rarer cards. Which rarer cards kind of come to market? I mean, and by the way, so here's just some more racing cards, and then a few. Here's a Max Woodson. Here's these nice. I like these cards. Pat Jennings, Graham. Okay, so these guys, these cards are fun. They're low grade, but I think they're important cards, at least to my collection. I like those UK cards from the 70s. So again, nothing super exciting there. And then the last thing in this order before we get to the big boy is going to be this album, which has it's basically a 1984 Showtime album, and it has in it actually the Senna somewhere in here. Okay, so here's a McLaren, Lotta. Here's, let's see, here's the Senna right here. So again, it's pasted in, likely to come out of one, even if it does come out, but it's from 1984. So clearly you can see it's the Olympics. So it's 1984. So clearly it would be a rookie sticker, even if pasted in. So again, I think all of that stuff, everything's suffering a correction, and that stuff potentially even more than other things. Yeah, and the challenge here, Fisker Karma is going to be if at these price points people want to sell. I'm not sure that it's going to incentivize people to sell. I think it's much more likely that those things show up in an up market than in a down market. So, all right. So here's kind of my big shipment. Why I wanted to jump on today to kind of go through this, because this is for me a huge win. This is on one of my top 10 most wanted, and it is something that I've been struggling to find and buy at a price that I thought was okay. South American stuff has been, just really hard to get, and that market still remains relatively strong for the rare South American issues. So that hasn't softened a lot, and this, it's kind of why, because it's just rare. It's super hard to find, and we, you just can't, if you can't find it, and there are only a few people. I mean that have it. It becomes expensive to get people to want to let things go. So sometimes you just gotta, if you want something, you gotta go after it. And so this particular item, I'm gonna take this out and put it in a penny sleeve for now. And I want to get back to another question that was on the board here a second ago. Oh, okay. This already wasn't a penny sleeve. Okay. So here is an Alfredo Di Stefano River Plate sticker. This is from the Captain Nelson album, which is a very rare album from 1947, I believe. And this one, I mean, the back, usually these, if you find even one copy, most of them are completely destroyed because they're ripped out of the album. But this one is just beautiful. What a great image. Wish you could actually see it a little bit better. And this one is, again, kind of like the Aruc at like the top of my collecting. And this goes back to a question that I can't remember who asked, but let me see if I can go back and find. Okay, so okay, here we go. So where do you rank the Di Stefano Montecudon out of his most important items to have, in your opinion? Okay. So let's talk Montecudon. If you're not a member of the Vintage Soccer Forum on Facebook, you should look at that and get in there. And there's then you can search long history. So there is, unfortunately, a little cloud around the Montecudon disc, which I don't have one of them handy here because I would show the rest of you guys who may not know that issue. Montecudon are similar discs like this. They were advertised in the magazines like Graphica, so they were, and they look very similar to the discs. And when I started collecting, you could find those Montecudons all over the place, and they were incredibly inexpensive. You could get lots for lots of 20 for like $5, which would include even maybe some stars like Labruna or Listau or someone. The Di Stefano would always be much more expensive, and there are 3 different versions of the Di Stefano. Somewhere along the way, those got graded by PSA, and I think they grade them 1946 to 49, if I'm not wrong. And a lot of people on the Vintage Card Facebook page have different opinions, and probably there's some confirmation bias from some collectors, but I would generally say that you know, the vast majority of collectors believe those to be issued during the late 40s. And I think the more precise dates would be 47, 48, and 49. They were likely done over the course of 3 years, and that's why there's different versions. And it seems to me that calling them fake, which some people have, it seems very unlikely because at a time when they were virtually worthless, you could find incredible amounts of other players that were also virtually worthless. So, kind of a story though in the hobby that kind of came up was that maybe they were reproduced in the 1970s to make them look like they're from the 1940s. I haven't seen anything that is conclusive. But one problem is that the books that are kind of the Bible for um, for Argentine issues like this one, Estampa de Campeón or Difícil en las Niantes, have always excluded the Montecudines, which is, a problem for, let me see if I can find this Captain Nelson, what's in here. It's always been a problem for the hobby because, if you don't find it in these books, which are basically the lifeline of collecting, then it's hard to give them a lot of credulence. So here is Grand Capitan. This is this one that we're just showing. Here he's saying 46 to 47. It'll be interesting to see how he adjusts the dates in the new version of Difícil en las Niantes. So you can see the Captain Nelson pages in here. If you have this book, it's page 92 and 93. So I think that's kind of the story with the Montecudine. And I would, I collect them. I have a couple versions of the Di Stefanos. I don't add to my position because I feel like I have them, and there is some risk to them, but I really believe that they are period. I know others have different beliefs, and it'll be interesting to see if Raphael Breton includes them in the new version of his book, which I think is coming out next week or the week after that. So we'll be pretty excited on that. So anyway, this is what I believe to be one of the more important. He's not in the Huracan, so the other Bicicletas and the Aruk are earlier to me. But this Captain Nelson is still, one of my top 10s on my list, because now I believe that I have between, if you forget about the Montecudine, which actually I have as well, I'll have the Aruk, Bicicleta, Captain Nelson, and the Revancha, which is right here on my wall of Di Stefano, which would be all five of, and then actually you can follow that up with the Titan, the small one. So I have like 5 or 6 of the first Di Stefano discs, and in all cases they would be the only copy graded if I can get this one graded. So pretty excited about that. I felt like I've really bolstered my Di Stefano collection. Is one of my favorite players. Fascinating story, playing for 3 countries, how he goes to Millonarios, ends up being kidnapped. I mean, the guy's life story is just crazy, and he was just one of the most amazing players of all time. So love the story and love tracing it through cardboard collectibles. So so thank you Baller Productions. I appreciate it. It's a labor of love to build the collection, and I'm with you, Graham. Any Argentine Di Stefano is like is a must add if you can find any of these. These are just so special, and all the cards from the late 40s, which would be his early cards, are just so tough. And so I think obviously for me they've been a priority for the last couple years, which is why I've made it important to stretch and get these things when I can. Let me see. So Ray, yeah, I guess somebody was looking for the reunion. I think it was Fisker Karma. So yeah, Ray has all the bloomers, so you can go, reach out to him and see if you can pry one away. But he's got a really nice collection of bloomers, maybe better than mine even, which is pretty impressive. So congrats, Ray, on that. Let me see if I miss any other comments. If I missed, oh, you don't have a tatty. Okay, well, tatties aren't everything. Your Sinclair bloomers are awesome. So those are much harder than the tatty. But here's my little piece of golden cardboard. Actually, probably worth more than gold in that weight. Okay, let me just double check, see if anybody had any things. Lots of comments here. Waiting for a state of collection. Showing good cool. Yeah, actually, there's not really that much. It's mostly just wax, old baseball wax that I've had for a long time, and then a painting by Craig Crimler of a Negro League team. More of my memorabilia is off to the side. You can see actually some of it on, if you search Al Dragella and MLB, you can see some of the memorabilia. Most of my memorabilia relates to Negro League baseball. So they came and did a kind of a short video on my collection. So if you just Google that MLB Al Dragella Negro Leagues, you'll see some of that memorabilia. But all you see here is kind of wax that I owned from a kid and never opened, and just some stuff. My family will give me random boxes of soccer cards because they know that I like them, even though I don't really collect this modern stuff. So I just typically throw it up there, and when I get bored, I break a box. So that one's that. See what else, if there's anything. I think we talked about the manuals. I think that's almost a wrap, guys. So let's see. Yeah, hey Ray, what's your, if you can in the comments, put your Instagram. I forget what it is, but some people are asking, for that. He's got some amazing bloomer cards, amazing F1 cards, actually cricket cards. He's got one of the best Grace cricket cards out there. So Ray has put together an amazing collection. So let's see what else. And then of course we this is the sad state of the hobby. Cali Cards can print some Montecuda. Yeah, he can print basically anything. Unfortunately, dealing with fraud in the hobby has been something that's been around for a while. And in particular with Montecudine, find it a little hard to believe that someone would go to the trouble of creating a set of hundreds of players, most of those who don't matter, and sold for pennies on the dollar and still sell for pennies on the dollar, just to create some Di Stefanos that sold for not that much money at that time. But then again, I can't say that with any degree of certainty. So, and I think a lot of people would say this again. This is becoming the Ray show. That everybody wants Ray to leave some cards for other collectors and not just hoard them. Now, of course, I'm a terrible person to be saying that. I'm just reading the comment. I'm not really saying that. I have been accused of being a hoarder, of which, yes, I kind of am. So anyway, we I think, unless anybody has any other questions, I'll call it a night, and I'm going to celebrate my Di Stefano Captain Nelson. Yes, Capitan, El Capitan. Super, super excited to have that. And hope you guys enjoyed the reveal. Couple epic South American cards. Hope you enjoyed this epic cardboard episode. Make sure you like the video, please, and subscribe. I'm almost to like 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate it, and I'll be doing my videos. I've laid out my videos for the decades, for the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So I'm pretty excited to get to those when I get a chance, and excited about just the state of the hobby and the World Cup. So hopefully we'll see you guys out there on the Discord and in other places. Hey, yeah, thanks guys for all the congrats. I really appreciate it. It's part of the grind. I know a lot of these guys out here, like Nils, grinding every single day. And that's just what you got to take and, make the networks to get the stuff that you want. So thanks, everybody. Please like and subscribe. It really does mean a lot to me. Leave a comment, what you like, what you don't like. And we'll see you on the Discord, and take care, everybody. Have a great night.